Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I am sharing with you my diary entry for the week of July 10th through 16th. Today is July 16th. It is very hot today. I am not very happy, but I wanted to jump on here and let you know how I progressed with my reading, my knitting, and my TV watching this week. So we'll start off with reading as always. And we'll start off with what I finished so far this week. So I've actually finished 2 things. It's very exciting. I wouldn't say my reading has picked up, but I am getting through things at a regular pace. Not regular for me, I guess, but I'm just getting through things. We'll just say I'm getting through things, which is better than not getting through things, because that's kind of how I feel this month has kind of gone so far. I do feel like I'm a little bit behind, but anyway, I finished 2 things. I finished The Last Fallen Star, which is the first book in the Gifted Clans series by Graci Kim. This was a carryover from June. I was given this book as the response to my TBR game prompt from June as mom's pick. My mom ended up picking this one for me because it was the Barnes & Noble's kids read-along selection for one of the months. I'm not sure which month. She enjoyed it, and so she thought I'd enjoy it. This one follows a girl who was adopted into a family, and they have a natural daughter, and so the adopted daughter and the natural daughter are roughly the same age, but the thing about this family is that they are gifted. They have abilities, and this particular family is like a healing ability. And our main character, forgive me, I do not remember her name, she has always been kind of envious. She really wants to have abilities, and she kind of feels like an outcast. And yeah, it's especially prominent now, her envy, because her sister is going to have her like coming of age ceremony, and this is when she gets her like magical conduit to be able to perform certain spells and things. And she is feeling left out because she should also be going through, or could also be going through, this ceremony, because she's roughly the same age. She knows all of the spells. She knows exactly what needs to be done for the ceremony, and yet she can't because she's not magical. They call her a Sadam, which means a regular human. And I believe Sadam is actually the word they use for a like person in like regular English or Korean to English translation. I think I do watch a little bit of Korean dramas, and so yeah, I think Sadam is actually the word for human in real life, or person. So anyway, that's what our main character is. She's a person, just a normal, regular human being with no abilities. And so her sister knows how much that it's affecting her, that she's not able to participate in the ceremony. She's never going to be able to do any magic. And so they kind of come up with a way for her to be able to have the ceremony. They find like a loophole. And so they go about working on getting to that loophole. Don't know how to say it because it'll give stuff away, but they start putting plans into motion into getting this loophole done, so that our main character can also have a ceremony of her own and hopefully get some magical abilities. And then things go horribly wrong. So that sets off a chain of events, and then our main character ends up having to go on a quest for the last fallen star. I will have to admit that this book took me a really long time to get into. The beginning part, or I would have to say about 3/4 of this book, was very slow for me. I did not enjoy the main character very much. She seemed very self-centered. A lot of her thought was just me, and not like really concerned about anyone else besides, her sister. There's even a section that comes up in this book where something happens and she finds out some important information that will affect one of her best friends, and she keeps it from them because she thinks that this other thing that she needs to do is more important than just telling her best friend. And that's kind of a trope that I really, really hate, is when a person gets really important information that is like life-altering to somebody else who's really important to them, but, I need to take care of this first. I don't know, it just seems to me like it would take less time to get that really important piece of information out to the person that you care about so much than something that's going to take days to get settled. I've seen that trope come up in a couple of things I've consumed lately. Not only this book, but the TV show Kung Fu we were watching also had this trope, and I really, really hated it. And the outcome is always bad because then, the person feels like you were hiding this from them, and yeah. So that happened in this book. I didn't enjoy all of that. Like I said, I really felt like the main character was self-centered, and I didn't enjoy that. But I did enjoy the references to like the Korean food, and there's this Korean fusion food, and watching Korean dramas, and things like that I really enjoyed. I will have to say that as somebody who had watched Korean dramas, I got a lot of the references that were being made. But I did also listen to a majority of this on audio. So had I not been someone with experience with Korean dramas, I don't know that I would have gotten some of those references. I did flip through the ebook copy that I had because I did borrow a copy from Kindle Unlimited, and that copy actually does have a glossary in the back that has all of the meanings for all of the Korean words. So you could, figure out what those things meant, but as somebody who's just listening, I'll give you an example. There's one passage in the story where it says that one of the character's skin turned as white as her dad's makgeolli, or somebody's makgeolli. And makgeolli is a Korean fermented rice drink, I think. It's like an alcoholic beverage, and it's very milky. Would you have known that that's what she was referring to if you hadn't consumed any Korean dramas or hadn't drunk makgeolli before? I don't think so. Let me know. I already know what that is because, like I said, I do watch Korean dramas. I've watched a lot of Korean variety shows. In fact, in one of the Korean variety shows we watched, they'd actually gone to a makgeolli making plant where they were making the makgeolli, and so I already had that background knowledge. But would somebody who doesn't have any of that knowledge know what that was when she had described it? I don't think so. But like I said, let me know if you would have known what that meant if you didn't know what makgeolli was. But there are little things like that within the story. Whereas, if somebody wasn't familiar with Korean foods or Korean dramas or anything like that, would they have known what was being said, what was being referred to, without the glossary? Like, if I had just come to this audiobook without that background knowledge, I think I would have been very confused. And so, yeah, that was a thought that I had while I was reading the book. But it picked up, like, right towards the end, so much that I'm very interested to see what's going to happen from here on out. But it was very slow for me to get to that point in that book. So I'm glad that I read that one. I'm giving it a 3.5, which means I enjoyed it and I would recommend it. But we'll see what I think as the series goes on when I read the next one. I don't know that I'll be picking up the next one right away, but I'm definitely more interested now that I finished the first book than I was when I was about 75% into it. So, yeah, that's the novel that I finished this week. And actually, the first thing I finished this week was this 3-in-1 edition of Bleach, which is by Tite Kubo. This is volumes 25, 26, and 27. So I believe this is the 3-in-1 number 9. I'm really enjoying this one. Like I said before, my daughter and I are doing a read-a-watch-along of this series. It's a very interesting series. It's one that I've already watched in animated form. In light of the fact that the 1,000-Year Blood War arc is coming out in October, I would really like to get up to that point. And so I'm very behind. And I am the reason why we are behind. I am the one that has held us up. So now that I finished this, we can watch the episodes that correspond with this volume. We're still with the Visors and the Iran cars. And yeah, I don't particularly like what happens with one of the characters in here, Orihime. For those of you who are familiar with this series, I didn't like how she handled things here. I felt like she was kind of whiny, but I am not a fan of Orihime, so that's probably why. But yeah, I am definitely liking seeing all of the preparation for battle, though. That is very interesting to me. And yeah, so I'm enjoying this one, looking forward to the next one, and we should get to some battle sequences in the next one. This was pretty much prep, but yes, looking forward to the battle sequences in the next volume, and then watching corresponding episodes for what I have finished in that volume. So that's everything that I have read this week. I am currently in the middle of Extinct. So this is by Charles Wilson. I think it's by Charles Wilson. It does say right here. I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, I was very inspired to pick this one up this week because the Disney Channel, or Disney Plus, had uploaded their Shark Fest episodes this week, and so we've been watching some of those. I'll get to more of that when we get to the what I've been watching section. But I suddenly had an urge to pick up one of my Sharky books, and so I decided to go for this one. This one is about a megalodon, very much kind of in the vein of the Meg. It starts off where we have two teenagers who are kind of like passing time swimming in a lake, and then they suddenly disappear. And then two more elderly gentlemen are fishing, they disappear, and turns out that they find this tooth when they were looking for these people, and this tooth is huge. They do some testing on it and figure out that it's a megalodon tooth, and that it doesn't look like it's like old enough to be a fossil kind of tooth. So, yes, they figure out that this megalodon is terrorizing people, and so the water is not safe. I just finished the section where one of the characters we're introduced to in the beginning has come face to face with the megalodon. And so, yeah, that was really exciting. I am on chapter 26, page 192. So I've read quite a bit from this, which is great because, like I said, my reading's kind of slowed down. I just picked this up, I think on Sunday. So I've gotten through quite a bit. I'm finding myself wanting to reach for this, which is also great because I haven't had that feeling in a while. This book is 310 pages, so I've got a little more than 100 pages. I think I'm definitely going to finish this one this week. So yeah, I was inspired to pick this one up because of the Shark Fest videos. And the fact that Nitty Natty's Shark or Sock Week was happening this week, which I thought it was going to happen at the end of the month because I believe that's when Discovery Channel is having their Shark Week. And that's usually when Sock Week happens. So I was actually surprised when I found out last Saturday night that Sock Week was this week. So that brings me into the knitting. Yeah. So I always try to participate in Sock Week that's hosted by Nitty Natty. And I was completely caught off guard. So I was like, oh. So, yeah. So, just so happens, I had worked on a sock last week. So, this is the sock that I was working on last week. I did not bring my sock blocker. Sorry. But I think I was on the toe over here when I talked to you last. So, I finished up the toe. And then I went back and did the afterthought heel. So I just did my lightning toe. And then I put in the true afterthought heel. This is the umbrella heel by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears podcast. And so, yeah, I finished up this sock Saturday night. And then on Sunday, because Sock Week started on Sunday, I started the second sock. So I've got this much done. Cuff. I did start on Sunday. So cuff. And then the tube and the toe. And then I started on the heel last night. So I've got this much to go. I will definitely be finishing this in time. But I'm not going to put it in for any like prizes or anything like that. It was just really motivational for me every year to do Sock Week. And like do a sock, because regardless, I will probably always have an unfinished pair that needs its sister or whatever. And so, yeah, it's really motivational for me to participate in Sock Week every year. So that's where I'm at with this. It's been nice getting back to knitting. I don't know. I'm still not really like into socks, but this has been nice to just have on the go while we've been watching all of the shark videos and Korean dramas. So yeah, so far so good. Again, I am doing this in my leftover Cascade Heritage prints in the Independence colorway. This is colorway number 52. I have quite a bit left. So I'll probably use the rest to make my mom a pair of socks, because I already have a pair. And then the heels, toes, and cuffs are in the Regia Potpourri color in the colorway 1105. So yeah, so far so good. I should have another pair of socks done by next week, or actually by this evening. I don't know if I'm going to cast on another pair of socks or if I'm just going to work on one of the two tops that I have on the go. Kind of really been wanting to cast on two different things. like a Christmas pair of socks, because Christmas in July, and a Halloween pair of socks. I think the next pair of socks I do will be for me, because I've done one for me, and then I finished one for my mom, and then my daughter, so then I think the next pair is for me. I kind of do them in that order, so that, you know, it kind of evens out the number of socks that we all have. But yeah, I can't decide whether I want a Christmas pair or if I want to work on a Halloween pair. So yeah, both have been calling to me, and I don't want to cast both on, so I'll need to decide on one or the other. And I'm still not sure which one I want. So we shall see what I will do with that. So that's all of the knitting that I've done this week. And then as far as TV show watching, we have watched the second season of Only Murders in the Building. Really, really enjoying that one. We started and finished the Korean drama, or I should say, continued the Korean drama Voice with the 4th season. This is like a crime type of Korean drama where we have a character we follow through the whole series, so all 4 seasons, and she is part of the Golden Time team, and she has extraordinary hearing abilities. And so when she's taking these emergency calls, she can hear things that other people can't hear. So we follow her and a team of investigators and other people on the Golden Time team from the call center, taking these calls and seeing the outcome from not only the people that are just on the phone while all of these things are happening, but from the response team who are out in the field trying to save these people. And it's really, really interesting. There's always an overarching type of case where there's like this serial killer out on the loose and they're trying to find them. And then there's also other cases that happen, like normal everyday cases where, you know, there are people who need help, and the Golden Time team goes out and helps them. So yeah, I really, really enjoy that season. I think there's going to be one more, but due to the state of the world, things got pushed back quite a bit. I think there has been some speculation that there'll be an announcement for the 5th season soon. I'm really, really behind on watching the 4th season because I think it came out in 2020 or 2021. But I did not have a subscription to Viki at the time that it was being aired live, and so since I have the subscription now, I thought we should watch it. We decided not to go ahead and rewatch from the beginning because we had already watched the first 2 episodes, and we still remembered quite a bit from what we watched. So we started at episode 3 and watched through the whole thing. Really, really enjoyed that one. And so since we enjoyed that one so much, we decided to go into another one that I had wanted to watch when we had our Viki subscription, and that is Mouse. This is also a crime Korean drama. We're following a serial killer. I shouldn't say we're following. We start off the series with a serial killer that was named the Headhunter because he decapitated his victims. And very early in the series, like either the end of the first episode or the beginning of the second episode, he gets caught. And there is a scientist who has been able to hone down to a specific gene that they're calling the psychopath gene, and they're trying to put into legislation this testing where they can test fetuses of pregnant women to see if the fetus has this psychopath gene, and if the fetus has it, they will immediately, without parental consent, go ahead and abort that child. Now, Korea has an anti-abortion law, at least as far as where the drama says. In the drama, they say that Korea has an anti-abortion law. So I don't know if that's still the case. This drama is relatively new. I think it's a 2021 drama. But they said that at that time, Korea had an anti-abortion law. And when they were saying that, I believe we were already in the past. So this kind of story spans quite a few years. And it was a little bit confusing, the way that they presented it, because they kept doing time jumps back and forth. But yeah, so there's this scientist who's done this gene. They're trying to get this legislation passed. It's 99% sure that if your fetus has this gene, they will turn into a psychopath. So they're basically trying to pass this into legislation because of this headhunter case. Because the headhunter had taken like 20 victims before they had caught him. So they're trying to get that into place, but there's this question about, okay, it's 99% sure that if your child or your fetus has this gene, that they're going to turn into a psychopath. What about the extra 1%? Well, that extra 1% is the genius gene. They're either going to turn into a psychopath, or it could be 1% that they'll actually be a genius instead. And so there's no way to figure out the difference between the psychopath and the genius as far as where they are with the science at that point. So they end up not passing it into legislation. So we find these two women who are both pregnant, and one is the wife of the headhunter, who was pregnant at the time, very pregnant. And then another one is of a woman who was married to a police officer, I think. He was a really good man. And both of them have received tests back saying that their child has this gene. Now it's 99% that their child will turn into a psychopath, and 1% that it'll be genius. So we see both of them kind of struggling with this information, and then there's a time skip, and we meet both of the kids as an adult. So that's kind of where we're at now. A lot of things have happened in between, so I haven't given away everything. There's still a lot. And so, yeah, this drama is really long. I was surprised. It said that there are 25 episodes. That's pretty long. So I'm interested to see where we're going to go. It does star Lee Seung-gi. And I think this one is one of the ones that he did after he got out of the military. So I have my suspicions about the character he's playing. But we'll see. But yeah, so far it's very interesting. It's dove right into the crime stuff. We're following what looks like a serial killer in the present day now. And so it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing more. We've only watched 2 episodes, so lots to go. But I think this one's going to be really enjoyable. And so, yes. So besides all of that, like I said, we've been watching the shark documentaries on Disney+. We've watched several. I'm trying to make it a point to watch at least one every day until the little blips on YouTube, the Discovery Channel YouTube channel starts coming up, because I don't have Discovery Channel, but I like to watch their little 5-minute like teasers for all of the stuff that they're putting out, because it's still very enjoyable. And yeah, I'm learning a lot. We've watched quite a few already, and there's still a lot more on Disney+. So looking forward to getting through all of that. And that's everything I have read, knitted on, and watched this week. So Not too much, but I did finish a couple things as far as reading goes, so I'm feeling good about that. I am feeling the want to read right now with Extinct, which is great. And so we'll see if that picks up over the next week. Next week, I do have the manga club meeting, so I will be heavily focusing on the manga I need to read for that meeting. And we'll see if I get anything else read during the week. So that's everything I have to talk to you about this week. Let me know down in the comments below what you finished this week. Have you had a good reading week or a bad reading week? Have you watched any of the shark documentaries on Disney Plus? And if nothing else, you would just like to let me know that you are here, if you could leave me a shark emoji down in the comments below. I'm pretty sure there is one. If there isn't one, just any kind of sea creature emoji down in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.